The location of this attack was no accident. The terrorists chose to strike at the heart of our capital city, where people of all nationalities, religions and cultures come together to celebrate the values of liberty, democracy and freedom of speech. We will all move forward together, never giving in to terror and never allowing the voices of hate and evil to drive us apart.
All right, that was British Prime Minister Theresa May speaking earlier tonight following the deadly terror attack in London. And just moments ago, President Donald Trump tweeted, quote, spoke to UK Prime Minister Theresa May today to offer condolences on the terrorist attack in London. She is strong and doing very well. Joining us now with the very latest on the ground in London is our own Benjamin Hall. Benjamin.
Well, Sean, the one thing that many people were expecting throughout today has been confirmed by Scotland Yard, that this was indeed the work of radical Islamic terrorists. And, of course, they say they now know who the attacker was, that they're not releasing the name. But we do know some more about the victims today, the 5 people so far who have been killed. Among them, P.C. Palmer. He was 48 years old. He had a young family. He was killed while protecting the members of Parliament at the Palace of Westminster. Also among them is a 30-year-old woman. She was killed on the bridge, the assailant himself and 2 other people. We know at 2:45 or so the car was crossing Westminster Bridge. It sped onto the pavement, the sidewalk, at about 35 miles an hour. And as it careered down, it killed innocent people left and right. And today we know also that Parliament was sitting at the time. The Prime Minister herself was in Parliament. She was rushed out soon afterwards. And as you heard there, she has said that this will not bring down the country. They will stand as strong as ever. And of course, those few connections still to ISIS. Remember, this was a year to the day that the Brussels attacks were carried out. 32 people killed in those attacks, directly inspired by ISIS. It's also the same day 68 foreign ministers were meeting in DC to discuss the coalition against ISIS. And of course, the terror group are on the back foot at the moment and have been reaching out, calling out to their followers to reach out and attack the West wherever they can, in particular using vehicles. And we've seen their propaganda pointing towards this. It's a method they've used time and time again. We've seen it in Berlin, we've seen it in Nice, we've seen it twice here. And today, despite all the security around this heavily guarded building, it worked again and they were able to take the lives of 5 people. So today, this city very much in mourning, but going to pick itself up tomorrow and continue as best as it can on the way. Sean?
All right, Benjamin, I know you've had a long, difficult day, and I know it's very early in the morning. Thank you for staying up for us. We appreciate it. Joining us now with reaction is Brexit leader, Fox News contributor, also a personal friend, Nigel Farage. Up late for you, too, Nigel. First, our thoughts and prayers go out to all our friends in Great Britain, especially the families, the victims, and those that are in hospitals fighting for their lives. You know, you and I have had long discussions, both on air and off air, about the Islamization of Europe, about refugees, about migrants, and how it impacted the Brexit vote, how it impacted the election of Donald Trump. Here we are back, square one, once again, another attack. How important are these issues of vetting? How important are these issues of independence? And certainly knowing something about people that come into our countries?
Well, we've made some terrible mistakes in this country, and it really started with the election of Tony Blair back in 1997, who said he wanted to build a multicultural Britain. His government said later they sent out search parties to find immigrants from all over the world to come into Britain. And you know what? I don't think we vetted a single one of them. And the problem with multiculturalism is that it leads to divided communities. It's quite different to multiracialism. That's fine. That can work very happily and extremely well. But we finished up with very divided communities. And I'm sorry to say, but we have now a 5th column living inside these European countries. And surely an American audience seeing this horrendous thing happening in Westminster today should start to say to itself that when Donald Trump tries to put in place vetting measures, he's doing it to protect your country. And frankly, all those people out protesting in Fifth Avenue in New York and elsewhere, they need to have a good, long, hard think about what they're doing. Frankly, if you open your door to uncontrolled immigration from Middle Eastern countries, you are inviting in terrorism.
Nigel, I agree with you, but there are people that disagree with us, and they will say things like xenophobic, Islamophobic, and throw these words out here. Is it really too much to ask that if you come from a country that practices Sharia, whose values directly contradict those of the United States and our Constitution, or the values of Western Europe and the United Kingdom, is it really too much to ask that we vet you and know that you're going to bring safety and security with you as you visit, have the honor of visiting our great countries?
No, it's just plain common sense. And what you didn't mention there, Sean, of course, is attitudes towards women. Because in a lot of these countries that we're talking about, women, you know, frankly, aren't even second-class citizens. And just look at what we've seen happening in parts of Sweden, in parts of Germany, in terms of sexual crime statistics.
It's outrageous.
I tell you what's happening here. You know, the idea that this whole country tonight is united, which is what we're hearing from our leaders, I'm not sure is true. I think the British people want some answers from our leaders as to what they're now going to do.
Well said. All right, Nigel Farage, thank you. Our thoughts and prayers are with our friends in Great Britain tonight. Coming up tonight.